Hi everybody, Barrett Laurie here. It's Thursday, and if it's Thursday on this channel, you know what that means. It means we're talking about the butt stuff. Not the fun kind, not the kind of gay kind. I'm talking about the Crohn's. Crohn's disease specifically. So, before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, if you're not following me on the socials, bibbity boppity boop to Instagram and Twitter, and go ahead and give me a follow at Barrett_Laurie. And I appreciate it, and I am very good about communicating back. If you tweet at me or DM me or shoot me a message on Instagram or a comment, I'm really good about getting back to you. So, do that. Moving on, if you like this channel, if you like my Dear Barrett episodes, if you like me talking about butt stuff, if you like whatever else I put on this channel, do me a favor and click that subscribe button. Do it right now. What are you waiting for? Then when you're done with that, go right next door and click that bell, girl. Click it. Ding, ding. Okay? That's going to give you notifications every time I upload something new to the channel. So if you like what you see here, do me a favor and subscribe. That's how we grow and spread the word. Also, if you like the content, click that like button and comment below. I will respond to you. Good or bad, you won't hurt my fifis. I've got a super tough skin. Moving along, let's get into today's episode. So today's episode is going to be a day in the life of my diet. The reason I'm talking about this is when I got diagnosed in March of 2020, the very first thing that my GI doctor had me do was sit down and visit with a dietitian. The reasoning behind that is Crohn's disease, a lot of people think is just a poop disease. Like, if you get Crohn's, you're just walking around pooping everywhere, I guess. I don't know what they think. I know that several friends, when I'm at their house and I shift uncomfortably in my seat, immediately go, "Do you want to go to the bathroom?" "No, I'm not going to poo myself on your couch, dude. I have an anal fistula and it's super uncomfortable." If you don't know what an anal fistula is, wait for an upcoming episode and I will do a deep dive into that fun butt stuff. But if you want a generalized idea of what that is, go ahead and click this video, which is an overview about my experience getting diagnosed with Crohn's disease, where I touch a little bit on what a fistula is. However, some of us cronies get a little bit annoyed when people assume that everything about Crohn's is just poo stuff. It's not poo stuff, people. It's digestion. It's inflammation. It's all kinds of stuff, and it's not necessarily poo related. So, for me, diet was essential because certain things I eat really cause me some problems in digestion, gives me bloating, lots of pain, and just is not worth it. The number one thing that causes me that kind of pain and struggle and trouble is my all-time favorite thing in the world, other than my husband and puppies: ice cream. I know, it's hard for me too, and I'm struggling with it. I'm working on it in counseling. I'm like trying to overcome it, and if one more of you sends me a freaking video or a link to how I can make avocado cream, blech, no thank you. I'm figuring it out on my own. I just gotta get over it, okay? Appreciate you sending it, but it's just not my jam, okay? I've tried it, it's just not my thing. Anyway, two things came up with the dietitian right away. Number one, get one of these bad boys. This is a Fitbit. I swear by it. Basically, they told me that if I'm not up walking and moving, then my digestion isn't moving as well as it could be. One of the best things you can do for yourself and your digestive system, whether you're a Crohn's warrior or not, is to get up every day and do some walking. Now, 10,000 steps is just a marketing ploy used by a Japanese company who was selling pedometers way back in the day. But it is a good goal to try to move 3 to 7 miles per day. So that's usually where I try to land, on the 5 to 7 end of that range. I get up every day, and this little bad boy keeps me accountable. So if you think that'll work for you, get you a pedometer. It doesn't have to be Fitbit. It can be any kind out there, including an Apple Watch. As long as it tells you how much you're moving in the right direction. Now, we've talked about moving. We've talked about anal fistulas. So if you've hung in this long, let's just be honest, you are either a Crohn's warrior, you absolutely love me, and I've made you come to this channel to support me by shaming you, or you're my mom. If any of those things are true, we're gonna keep moving right along and you're gonna hear all about my diet. So, buckle up, because we are gonna start from the moment I get up this morning until the moment I go to bed. Everything that goes into my body, I am keeping track of for you today. So I use something called intermittent fasting. I do a 6-18 method, which means I give myself about a 6-hour window to eat. Sometimes I'll extend that to 7 or 8, depending on the day, but I never go more than 8 hours. In the past, I used it for weight management. However, once I was diagnosed with Crohn's, The dietitian mentioned it as something I can do to give my digestion a break. So the idea behind it is that when I sleep, that's a solid, well, I wish it was 8 hours, but it's more like 6. The 6 hours that I'm asleep, and then the hours leading up to sleep, and the hours after I wake up, basically come together as a period of time that my digestive tract can kind of go to work, digesting the food I had the day before, without me throwing a bunch of other stuff in there to complicate the system or back stuff up. You're welcome. So, I use a 18-6 method most days. Some days I'll do a 16-8, just depends. But it really has been helpful for me. Basically, it looks something like this. I don't eat after 8 p.m. at the latest, most of the time 6 p.m., and I start eating at noon. The reason I start eating at noon, that window, is because that's when I take my meds. Azathioprine, which is one of the pills that I'm on to control my flare at this point, that's an immunosuppressant, a chemo pill. It makes me a little nauseous, so I go ahead and break my fast at that time so I don't have an upset stomach. So for me, I wake up at 6, 7 in the morning. I will have 2 cups of coffee from 7 to noon, and I will have a whole lot of water. Now I am going to talk about the water. Very important, very, very important. No soda, only coffee, water. Coffee, water. Occasionally tea before bed, but that's it. Super important because the more water you get, the more hydrated you are, which also aids digestion. The other great thing about water is it allows me to slip in a couple of Benefiber on the go packets. I'm gonna show a picture of my water bottle that I use. It's about 32 ounces. I drink 6 to 8 of those a day. If that sounds like a ton of water, it is, but it's necessary. It helps me get an extra fiber thanks to the Benefiber to go packets, and it's also good for keeping me hydrated. I'm more active these days. I'm trying to walk as much as possible to keep my digestion happy. I need all that water to keep everything going. It also helps me stay full so I don't have hunger pangs from the time I get up until noon. Makes it super easy to just float through that time without even noticing that I haven't had anything to eat. It's really easy to get yourself into that pattern, and it's super helpful for me and my digestion. So if you're struggling with Crohn's and you think it might help you to try intermittent fasting, there are tons of videos and resources out here on YouTube. Give them a Google. The best ones I would suggest would be a 16-8 or an 18-6 method. Okay, moving along. So, nothing but coffee and water from the time I get up until noon. Now it's noon. Now what? I'm going to show a little pic of my pills and how I do it every day. I put everything I take into a little container, ramekin, leave it on the counter so that I know when it's time I can just shoot them back. I also take some vitamins, which I'm going to show you now. Those are just the things that I'm most deficient in, although I have vitamin deficiencies in all sorts of things. So next is the most important part of my day, my smoothie game. Smoothies are really, really important for me. Number one, they're already ground up and mixed and mushed and very simple to digest because I don't have to chew anything and my body's not left with chunks and pieces to figure out in my stomach. I will put a recipe for it down in the description below. It's super duper simple. Basically, it consists of 2 cups of spinach, 1 cup of strawberries, a half cup of blueberries, a half cup of Greek yogurt, an entire Fuji apple, about a 1/3 cup of carrots. I also toss in some flaxseed, some chia seeds, and an anti-inflammatory powder that my mom got for me. I'm a big fan of Housewives of Orange County, watched it since it began, and it's a product that Heather Dubrow, a former cast member, came up with, and I love it. It's great for inflammation, and it's been really helpful for me. It's called Primo Beats. I'm gonna put a picture of it on here too so you can see that. Basically, I put all of that stuff along with some coconut water, mix it up in my Vitamix, and that is my green drink. I make a big old glass of it and I sip on it slowly from noon until about 1:30. That's all I will have. I always have a little bit extra, which I will share with my husband if he's here. If he's not, then I will put that extra in the fridge and have it with my lunch. My lunch consists of a salad, and I won't have it until about 2:30 every day if I can make it that long. Sometimes I'll go a little longer. But today it was a watermelon salad. So that consists of cut watermelon, cucumber, sweet onion, a little bit of Provel cheese because I'm from St. Louis and I know that most watermelon salads use feta, but again, know your audience. St. Louis, we do Provel in a big way. So then I take a little bit of balsamic glaze and put it over the top. I'm including a picture so you can see that. After that, I try to stay away from snacking as much as possible, but if I'm going to snack, I'm going to have some sort of nut mixture. Again, I'm trying to up that fiber content as much as possible and make digestion easier on my life. So that will consist of a half cup of almonds, a half cup of pistachios, or some kind of a trail mix. All of the things that you're seeing today come from Aldi because that's the favorite store of ours to shop at. Mostly since COVID because they're great about doing the shopping for us and we just pull up and they put it in our car. So, and they're really close to the house, so it makes life easy. Moving right along. So, I've had my green drink for the day. I've had 6 to 8 of my waters, 2 of them being filled with Benefiber. I have had 2 cups of coffee and my salad and a snack. Dinner time. Now what? I am so glad you asked. Well, tonight we're having a special treat. My husband absolutely loves my Thai coconut chicken. It's super simple. I actually cheated today and got it pre-made from Aldi so that all I had to do was heat it up in the skillet. But I also have made it from scratch. Basically, the idea here is I try to stay away from red meat. I noticed a while ago that red meat for me is really hard to digest and makes life really, really difficult. So I really try to stay away from all red meat. Basically, the only meat I'll have during the day, because my husband absolutely insists on eating meat, if I could get rid of it entirely, I would, but insists on it. So, chicken, pork chops, turkey. That's it. Today, we're having Thai coconut chicken, and it is delicious. I will eat that with brown rice and some sort of a leafy green vegetable. Either I will put in some kale or some spinach. Occasionally I'll have broccoli, whatever I have on hand. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, anything green that can kind of fill up that bowl makes life a lot better. So basically for me, the idea is to try and close that eating window by 6 if my husband is working outside of the home, which recently started again here in July when the store reopened. I'll probably push that eating window to 7:30 because I will want that time with him to not only cook dinner together, but also eat together. So I will have a longer feeding window now that he's back in the store. But no matter what, I'm gonna stick to that 8-hour maximum window of noon to 8 o'clock. And once I've had dinner, I try not to have anything afterwards, especially sugar. If I am gonna break somehow and have some sort of sugary sweet treat, as much as I would love for it to be Dairy Queen, especially when I'm sweating like you can't even imagine under these lights, I won't do the dairy. It's just too bad for me. It doesn't do me right. So what I will do is have a little mug cake. If you haven't seen them, they're in stores. They're incredibly addictive. And I usually keep some sort of store-bought frosting on hand. You know, I know that store-bought icing is just total trash, but I'm here for it. I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, okay? I don't have time to make icing. So appreciate you, glad you can do it, I can't. So this is a day in my life. This is what I eat in a day. The most important things, if I could impress upon you, something that you can do to make your life a little easier as someone with Crohn's is threefold. 1, make sure you get yourself a Fitbit. Really helps you, or not a Fitbit, some kind of a pedometer of some sort. Keep yourself accountable for your steps. It's essential. This thing will make sure that your intestines are moving the way they should be. Promise it will make your life better. Number 2, the water. So important. Sugary sodas, juice, all that crap is crap. Get it out of your diet. It is not helping you. It is not helping your Crohn's. Get rid of it. Make sure you're drinking lots and lots of water every day. And if you're feeling a little dehydrated when it's 90 degrees out and you've been filming in a very hot room with a bunch of lights on you, go ahead and treat yourself to some Pedialyte or some Gatorade. I promise your body will thank you. Your digestion will too. Now, the last piece that's so important is just the diet. Basically, the overview of my diet that keeps it really simple for everyone. You will see clips in this video where I'm gonna put in pictures of all the different things I eat throughout the day and give you the description to my green smoothie. But basically, you wanna do what's best for you. For me, it's best to break a fast with something soft, already blended, and easy to digest. Then I move on to a salad that does not have meat and stick to just veggie and fruit and nuts until dinner time, when I will allow myself a meat. Whenever I have meat, it certainly will not be red meat. For me, that does not work. The biggest point here, guys, is it's different for everybody. This disease is basically anyone's guess as to what will work for you. It's individualized. What works for me may not work for you. However, the best I can do is give you my advice for what's helped me and hope that it helps you. So, once again, I'm gonna do a little housekeeping. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and click that like button. If you get tickled by my butt jokes, like it, people. If you wanna comment, leave me a message. Ask me how I make something, where I get something, whatever. Leave it in the comments. I promise I will answer you. If you're not following me on the socials, get over to Insta, get to Twitter, find me at Barrett_Laurie, give me a follow, and I will follow you back. I appreciate you. Last but not least, subscribe to the channel. It's the only way to keep up with what's going on with the butt stuff, and everybody loves the butt stuff, let's be real. Also, click the bell. You'll get notifications every time we have a new episode. If you're a Crohn's warrior or a Crony, I appreciate you. Know that you're not alone. We're all going through this together, and basically, do your best to stay healthy and well. This is a really scary time for those of us that are being treated in the middle of a flare. Our immune systems are already in overdrive and being pushed back down to zero so we can get back to a state of normalcy. So take care of yourselves.